Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. It is indeed good old MF Michael Fletcher, alongside Anthony Floyo, Michael Bullock, and Dee Dee Woodson. And guys, we are going to be reviewing tonight the recap from last night's Smackdown Live from the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Myself, Anthony, and Michael Bullock were in the house to watch the show, and we're going to give you our thoughts, especially from the in-ring aspect or the arena aspect, along with Dee Dee Woodson, who watched it on the USA Network. So we started it off with the return of the New Day, and yes, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods comes out first, and they made this big plug marking the return of Big E. Once we had the big moment, it looked like Big E was gonna come out. There was an impersonator. He didn't look like Big E at all. We were like, wait a minute, what is this? So some of the fans started booing. We knew it wasn't Big E, and then it was roast time. Xavier and Kofi roasted this Big E impersonator. Where was he? What was happening? Well, all right, fine. We got him out of there. They redo the entrance again, introducing Big E, but this time we got the infamous play. Anthony recorded it, and Michael Bullock was doing it more than anybody else. Oh, Providence! And you already know the spiel. I'm not going to rehash it. Out comes Big E. The trio are together. It was awesome. We started going nuts. And we were talking about Big E's return. It was great to see him. Of course, then we had Kofi talking about the Money in the Bank and Lesnar winning. That got the fans all ticked off. Well, next thing we know, Sami Zayn comes out, then Kevin Owens. And it was basically a little back and forth. And then Kofi said something that kind of hurted KO's feelings, and KO just walked out. Bye. He's gone. Next thing we know, Sammy and Kofi were going a little back and forth with the fellow members of the New Day. Announced later on in the night, Kofi Kingston one-on-one with Sami Zayn, non-title affair. All right. Solid opening. I enjoyed it. The fans in Providence was eating it up. New Day is absolutely over in with this Providence crowd. They were really feeling it, man. Yeah, this was a great way to start the show. Solid for what it was worth. Great to see Big E there. I kind of felt like the humor wasn't really there, but all right, fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, we were eating it up. We were thoroughly enjoyed this segment to start off SmackDown Live. Anthony Floyo, come on in, my friend. We talked about it. We definitely had a good kick with the New Day.
Absolutely, MF. And let me tell you, we got there. We got there a little early, but as the fans were starting to arrive, even before the show started, you know, of course, there were all those fans who did the woo chants and all that. We always hear the woo chants, you know? We hear that. But there was a new chant in town. So many fans before the show started, about an hour before the show, half hour before the show, what have you. New Day rocks. New Day rocks. They were pumped. They were ready to see the New Day. I mean, they were the big pop of the night, without a doubt. But I'll tell you, MF, as far as the segment goes, it's good to see Big E back, although he's not medically cleared to compete yet. But good to see Big E back, and it's also good to see Kofi Kingston lean into being the serious member of the New Day when he has to be. Now, the only little nitpick here, I'm not, excuse me, I'm not terribly keen on keeping Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens so close yet again. But it's a little nitpick in the grand scheme of things. But other than that, solid way to start the show. So nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I'm very curious. Have you recovered from last night yet?
I think I've recovered from last night. Hopefully you and Fletch have definitely recovered from last night. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was a great way to start off this edition of SmackDown Live. I mean, good to see Big E back and his traditional shtick there, and and obviously talking about the Kingston being Kevin Owens, and of course uh, Lesnar winning the Money in the Bank. Then Kevin Owens comes out, and then basically Sami Zayn does as well, and well, it leads into what happens later on in the night. Well, we'll talk about it later on. So, all in all, a great way to start it off. So, Dee Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, it was a good way to start off the show. It was good to see Big E back. Even if he can't wrestle right now, it's still good to have him back in the ring with, as a support for his friends and, and everything. You know, Kevin Owens with the New Day is getting kind of old, but now here you got Sami Zayn thrown into the mix. So, it's another um, you know, I guess we're going back in time when the two buddies were trying to destroy everybody, and so I don't know, but yeah, it's still a good opening segment. So not much more I'm gonna say about it. Let's just move on.
First fight of the night, and man, was this match getting eaten up by the crowd in Providence. Easily, we can call this the fight of the night. Ali going one-on-one with Andrade, along with Zelina Vega. I know Floyo's gonna try to get me in trouble, but whatever. Ali wins the match in 11 minutes and 32 seconds. Anthony, we were marveling at this match. This was definitely um, more than a better TV quality match. 11 minutes, 32 seconds, but it felt a lot longer than that.
I think the time of the fall was the time that we saw on television, and Didi can attest to that.
Yeah.
But being there live, it felt like maybe more than 20 or so. Wouldn't you say maybe more than that? But because we got to see the stuff that you don't see on television. That's all there is to say on that. I can only imagine what I mean. Bullock and I, left to grab a refreshment as Andrade and Zelina were making their way down. Man, I wish I didn't have the impulse to do that, because I mean, I would have loved to have seen what MF was doing at that exact moment when Andrade and Zelina showed up. I would have loved to have seen what he would have done. But in all seriousness, all kidding aside, yes, this was indeed the fight of the night. 3.5 to 4 stars. Man alive, this was wow. I mean, when we heard it was gonna, I mean, we didn't know. I mean, we saw Ali come out and like, okay, that's cool. Who's he fighting? Once we heard those two words, El Idolo, we went, oh, this gonna be good. And guess what, friends? It was good. So good. It was the fight of the night. Like I said, 3.5 to 4 stars. Very good match. And I gotta be honest here. I like the idea of really honing in on Ali's wounds from the Money in the Bank match. It's very rare that WWE actually pays attention to these things. So this was a welcomed attention to detail here. The only thing I would have preferred Andrade pick up the win here, especially because he's going to be challenging Demon Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship in Saudi Arabia. But if Ali had to win here, a surprise fluke roll-up was the right way to go to do that. So, yeah, the crowd was definitely very happy and maybe surprised at the same time to see Ali go over, especially with all the injuries that he had to sell. But nonetheless, great athleticism. I mean, when we saw it was going to be these two, we were like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be real good. I'm not at all surprised we were right. 3.5 to 4 stars. Fight of the night, without a doubt. Bullock, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we see your favorite move in this match? Didn't we get to see a tope con hilo during this one?
Oh yes, we did. We did see the tope con hilo in this match, and of course, basically I went nuts on that one. So yeah, 3.5 to 4 stars. This was easily the fight of the night. I mean, a great match by both of these men. I mean, it seems like when they're in the ring for a match like this, I mean, it's just awesome. And so yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else that needs to be said. So, Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll agree about 3.5 stars. It was a good and fun match. Nice story and showing Ollie, and everything. A bit confusing in some of the results though that came out of it. With Andre challenging for the IC title, but at the same time, it's going to be a match to kind of look forward to seeing Andre versus Finn Balor. But this was a very good match and definitely the match of the night. So not much more I'm going to say about it or Callie. So we'll toss it to Fletch.
Three and a half to 4, and definitely the correct rating. Great match, no doubt about it. We're just gonna move on. Unfortunately, guys, there was one fight that did get thrown out. It was gonna be worst fight of the night by default. Mandy Rose going one-on-one with Carmella because it wasn't because of the match itself. The reason why the fight got thrown out was R-Truth is out there, and now we got that 24/7 belt out there among us, and sure enough, the men's locker room cleared out and went after R-Truth. Then we had a so-called Kentucky Derby moment where Carmella hopped on R-Truth's back, and away they went off to the races. And yeah, you could say once they made a little beeline, down the stretch they came in Providence, Rhode Island, and out of the building they went. As you know, R-Truth is the 24/7 champion, and throughout the night, Carmella was dressing him up, trying to make him look, try to do a incognito, basically dressed him up like a woman. But unfortunately, it wasn't that much. You fell into nobody bought it. Sure enough, it was a whole bunch of guys that went after him. The B team, Jinder Mahal, Kendrick, Apollo, Maverick, and I think there was a couple others. They haven't even posted, but they were all going after Truth. But as far as I know, as of now, R-Truth is still the 24/7 champion. I've been looking online all day long because you never know if that belt changes hands. Because remember, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, that belt is up for grabs. So as of now, there was a video that was posted on Instagram by R-Truth, and he still has the title. So there you go. So that was a complete and utter throwout. Then we had the next fight of the night, which was Kofi Kingston one-on-one with Sami Zayn. Kofi wins the match in 8 minutes and 23 seconds, but after the match, Paul Heyman showed up with the Money in the Bank briefcase. We're thinking, wait a minute. Money in the Bank, and Heyman has it, and we're like, oh no, is Brock here? Is Brock in Providence? We haven't seen Brock in Providence in over 2 years? About? Maybe 3? Well, no, Brock wasn't there. Dolph Ziggler was there, and he jumped Kofi Kingston. Not only jumped him, beat the living heck out of him. An vicious, sadistic, beat down attack that made myself, Florio, and Mike Bullock cringe at a couple of points. Michael Bullock, it's all yours. Talk about the match, and then talk about the sadistic, vile attack by Dolph Ziggler to the reigning and defending WWE champion Kofi Kingston. Holy cow!
Yeah, holy cow is the correct way to put it. As far as the match goes, I'll give it about 2.5 to 3 on the match here. I thought both men were good here in this. But yeah, after the match, woo, my gosh, we see Dolph Ziggler pull off some pretty nasty attacks, but this one here was goes way above that. He really beat the living hell out of him, and at this, some points using the steel chair, and the one time that we cringed, guys, was when he had the steel chair wrapped around Kofi Kingston's neck, and I'm like, no, Dolph, don't do it, don't do it. And then he did what he did, and the beating was so bad. They basically had to. Well, in the beginning, it looked like Kofi was going to get wheeled out, but somehow, some way, Kofi Kingston's like, no, I don't want to get wheeled out. I want to leave on my own 2 feet. And that's what he did, proving that he has the heart of a champion. So, and now we were all like wondering why Dolph Ziggler did what he did. Well, you're gonna find out later on in the night why he did what he did. So, nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, it's yours, and I wonder how Callie would feel about Dolph Ziggler's actions.
Well, she'd probably go claw his buns. Yeah, I'm gonna give the match probably 2 3/4 of a star. It was pretty solid. It was a good match. Clean win for Kofi. And Dolph attacking it at the end. Basically, from what I've read, that's they did this because Daniel Bryan isn't going to Saudi Arabia, so Dolph is the replacement for Daniel Bryan. So it just created a new storyline to endorse Saudi Arabia. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Fletch is yours.
Yeah, the fight itself was 2.5 stars. But yeah, this was unbelievable. Unbelievable beatdown. Great segment. It was probably even better than the actual fight. I think we can easily admit that. Slow, plotting, devastating, no remorse, no doubts about it. This was the highlight of the night. The crowd went absolutely ballistic. The Boo Birds came out. They were mega nuclear heat on Dolph Ziggler after beating down Kofi Kingston. But then, what made this even more crazier, there was a couple of yahoos, knuckleheads in the building yelling, "Thank you, Ziggler." Are you flipping kidding me? I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that was happening. Um, uh, it was a remarkable story, no doubt about it. There's really nothing for me to add on this one. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
I heard the same thing too, Fletch, as well. And I'll tell you this right now. I mean, I almost wanted to say something to them, but the last thing I wanted to do was cause a scene.
But the thing is, we don't even know where they came from. But that's the thing. We don't even know where the shouting of "Thank you, Ziggler" came from. I don't know in what section it was coming from. That's the problem.
Well, that's the worst part. No one knows.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna have to deal with that, even
Yep.
though it was uncalled for. Honest to goodness, but um, you know, that unnecessary detail aside, well, as I like to say with Bullock during our Raw chats or SmackDown chats or what have you, so that happened. Can't say we all expected that. We did not expect that. But you know me, being Mr. Attention to Detail. I mean, MF was saying, okay, where's Brock? When we saw Heyman with the briefcase, we're like, okay, where's MF clearly said, okay, where's Brock? Is he here? Out of the corner of my left eye, I saw a shadowy figure making a beeline to the ring. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not Brock Lesnar. And then when we saw it was Dolph Ziggler, we were like, what? Yeah, there he was. But first things first, the match was decent. 2.5 to 3 stars. We've seen these two wrestle recently, and that encounter was far better. The main story here, though, is Dolph Ziggler's return. Paul Heyman's distraction was a nice distraction from the extended celebration Kofi had going in the ring and added drama to the moment. Shakespearean drama. And Didi Woodson, I have to correct you. Yes, Daniel Bryan is not going to Saudi Arabia, but neither is Sami Zayn, and neither is Kevin Owens. Dolph Ziggler's replacing somebody, but it's not Daniel Bryan. Dolph Ziggler is replacing Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
That's the that was the dirt sheet that came out today.
Okay, that's a different one than what I read then.
Yeah, no, the thing is that the reason why Sami Zayn's not going is because he is of Syrian descent.
Yep.
And that there is kind of a blood war going on between Syria and Saudi Arabia. So so the best thing to do is keep Sammy behind, just in case you don't want to ruffle any feathers over there, and that's why Sammy's not going, and he is not gone ever since they started doing these Saudi Arabia shows. He has never gone once, and I really doubt he'll ever go to these shows in his career. The last time Daniel Bryan did not go was because he said he did not want to go because he was late. He was supposed to fight AJ Styles at Crown Jewel, and then Daniel backed out literally right at the last minute. So that's why he didn't go. And Anthony is right. Earlier today, Kevin Owens informed WWE officials that he's not going to Saudi Arabia. I guess there was a plan to do Owens versus Kingston for the WWE title. Now, like Anthony said, insert Ziggler. He's now fighting for the WWE title. And Anthony, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you can go right on and continue.
Yeah, the plan to bring Ziggler back, it was not in the plans. I mean, we haven't seen Dolph since like the early start of the year because he's been focused on his stand-up comedy routine, and he was scheduled to go to some show, but because of this commitment, he had to pull out, obviously. So I think they're trying to find a suitable replacement for him. I don't know what that story is, but you said everything that needed to be said there. So the match was 2.5 to 3 stars, but man, Dolph Ziggler. I mean, we're gonna have we got some very high praises for Mr. Ziggler, and we're gonna get into that in just a little bit. But 2.5 to 3 stars for Zayn and Kofi. Solid match. So nothing more to say. Let's move on, MF.
And then we had a tag team women's match. It was Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans, and they went up against the tag team of Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch and the new SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley. And yes, those pathetic, stupid, annoying. Go ahead, Bullock. I know you want to say it.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about. Those things.
Bailey's buddies.
ESPN saying the Special Olympics.
Come on, Bullock. Like Byron Saxton always says. Wacky wavy, you know it.
oh, sorry about
You
that. I
might be
was just,
busy.
the wacky wavy arm flailing and fatal 2 men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but Becky Lynch and Bayley wins the match, as it was Bayley getting the flying off the apron, getting a roll-up win on the Queen, Charlotte Flair, and I believe it goes to Dee Woodson. So, Dee, you lead off on this. The champions wins the match in 8 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah, and it was good to see that they were actually on the same page through the match. Even with Becky wanting to eventually challenge Bayley to get her title back from Bayley. But it was a solid match. I'm going to give it about 2.5 stars. And, it was good to see how, the champions can work together and, not be, at each other's throats. But it was also kind of cool to also see, Charlotte and Lacey Evans teaming up, and they were kind of on the same page as well. So I mean, it was still a very well done match for what it was worth. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I think Tiger agrees with me. We're not going to say too much more. So Fletch, yours.
All right, yeah, 2.5 stars. Good, solid fight. I'm gonna say it. The crowd loves Becky Lynch, without a doubt. She, other than the New Day, she got one of the loudest pops of the night, and there's no doubt about it. Becky Lynch is the most overt superstar right now in WWE. That crowd absolutely was begging for Becky. They wanted to see the man. Um, I tried very hard to be as professional as I could be in that match, but just to see the Raw Women's Champion back home where she belongs, even I got caught up in the fever of the man. So yeah, it was incredible. Good match. Great that Bayley got the win, because that solidifies her really well as the SmackDown Women's Champion. And yeah, all hands on deck, and she looked amazing. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
2 to 2.5, I guess. I mean, match itself was fine, though nothing of note. You notice they had a little pre-match interview with Becky and Bayley, and there was a little friendly contention there, and I like that. Becky was the first former champion in a while to show genuine frustration and grief over losing a title, and that's been refreshing. And yes, MF, I mean, you mentioned it. The place went bananas for Becky, and you noticed a couple of rows down, there was a mother and a father and 2 little girls. And those 2 little girls, when they saw Becky Lynch, oh my goodness, they were screaming, man. They love themselves some of the man, and who doesn't? And well, they weren't the only ones. I mean, of course, singing along with the theme song, like, that's become a new thing as of late. And yeah, Becky was right up there with the New Day as far as the massive pops go for the show last night. And yeah, the match could have been so much better, especially considering the talent involved. I mean, that should have been 3 to 3.5 easy based on the body of work of those four, but it was cut criminally short, if I'm going to be honest with you. But other than that, for the time given, you know, it was a solid match, although it could have been better. So 2 to 2.5, and I agree. Bailey going over was the right decision. You know, they're finally taking her seriously. I mean, where was this when she was on Monday Night Raw? Where was that? That's all I can say on that. I mean, I miss her on Raw, but hey, her going to SmackDown was obviously the best choice for her. She got the opportunity. She won the Money in the Bank. Then she wins the title, and now they're finally pushing her like the legitimate superstar that she is. About damn time. Should have been on Raw though. Oh well. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, I mean, solid match.
Yeah, 2.5 stars on the match. I mean, yeah, I mean, it made sense for Bailey to go over here. I mean, especially ever since she won the not just the Money in the Bank, but the SmackDown Women's title when she cashed it in. So yeah, there was a little friendly thing going on with her and Becky Lynch, and I did recognize too with the two girls ahead of us were going nuts with Becky Lynch, and she is the most popular uh, superstar, male or female, right now in WWE. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks like Bailey's finally getting that push, and her going to SmackDown as part of the Superstars shakeup uh, was the best thing for her. And I mean, come on, Florio, be serious. I mean, you really think she was going to be pushed on Monday Night Raw with the way they've been treating their stars lately? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah,
She was way too lost in the shuffle.
yeah, and that's why this move worked out perfectly for her. And maybe we need to start taking her seriously now. So we'll just have to wait and see. So 2.5 stars of the match. So let's just move on, Fletch.
Right after that, we had a very impassionate, fiery promo by Dolph Ziggler. Um, I gotta say it, segment of the night. This was unbelievable. This was I loved the story that he was saying. That, when he was away, that, first off, Kofi didn't deserve the opportunity at the belt, that was Mustafa Ali's spot. And that made me jealous of him. That, then Kofi got the shot at the Chamber, got a shot, to get to fight at WrestleMania, and that should be me. That I'm better than Kofi Kingston. I deserve the opportunities more than anything else. But I've been sitting here in the back, sitting here waiting for my opportunity, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when it's all said and done at Super Showdown, that I'm gonna be the next WWE champion. You felt the emotion, you felt the rawness. It was a very, very passionate heel promo, and it was very effective. No doubt about it for me. Segment of the night. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Oh my goodness. I mean, like Mauro Ranallo once said, NXT TakeOver New Orleans, there are no words. I mean, and there were no words. I mean, wow. I mean, as we were leaving last night, myself, MF, and Bullock, I'm pretty sure our fourth horseman for the night, Mr. Mike Silvera. Shout out to him, by the way. Glad he could join us. And I think we were all in agreement that Dolph Ziggler was the MVP of last night's show, and that promo, man, that was a pipe bomb and a half. Let me tell you, very interesting route to take. Ziggler managed to keep the mood of the promo mostly somber in tone and volume, so kudos to him for that. And while somewhat over the top, his words did contain a fair amount of truth. You know, talking about Ali and all that. Dolph's career has parallel Kofi's in a number of ways, and it's really interesting to see them frame a feud this way so many years into their respective careers. If nothing else, it's an intriguing angle to take. And these two have given us some very good matches in the past. They feuded over the United States Heavyweight Championship. They feuded over the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And now this time, they're going to be feuding for the big prize, at least in Saudi Arabia, the WWE Championship. That's awesome. And I know there are several millions of people out there who are not going to give two craps about this Saudi Arabia show. But with the way this show is shaping up, this show has potential. It really does. And Ziggler and Kofi, for my money on this, I think that's going to steal the damn show. That's all I'm going to say on that. So we'll wait and see. But segment of the night, we could definitely consider this one of the segments of the year, although it's not going to come close to that Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte craziness from that final Raw before WrestleMania. Nothing's going to top that. So nothing more to say on this. Michael Bullock, I mean, Dolph Ziggler's back, and he's back with a bang, as I said last night.
Oh, he was definitely back with a bang, and you could just feel the passion coming out of Dolph Ziggler during that whole segment. I mean, like you said, how we talked about that, how Kofi didn't deserve the championship, that it should have been him getting a championship opportunity at WrestleMania. All those things that Kofi got should have been him. And then at Super Showdown, he's going to take the title from him. So, yeah, I mean, you felt everything from coming out of Dolph Ziggler. And to me, like we said last night, I think Dolph Ziggler was the MVP of the show last night. So, yeah, not a lot of people are going to give two craps about this Saudi Arabia event, but I think you should tune in because those two guys there, Ziggler and Kingston, I think they're going to steal the damn show. No doubt about it in my mind. So, yeah, really got nothing more to say. So Dee Woodson, all I have to say is to Dolph Ziggler, damn, Dolph Ziggler, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he really just kind of opened up and just kind of let the floodgates go on how he felt about everything, and it was good to see a different side to Dolph that we really haven't seen much of. And him coming out on this segment with no music or anything, I mean, it just kind of set the tone for this supposed to be a very serious segment. And they even he even had it where he sounded like he was getting teary eyed and choked up a little bit, and really good segment, very well done. So yeah, I mean, this would definitely be the segment of the night, just in all around way. I mean, there's just not much else that can top that. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Pledge is yours.
Main event of the night was Roman Reigns versus Elias. Roman Reigns wins the match at 11 minutes and 51 seconds. Shane McMahon was out at ringside, and man, he was being quite a pain in the you-know-what throughout that entire match. Then it looked like Shane jumps Roman at the end, was going to try to hit him with the guitar, gets a Superman punch for it. Roman gets the chair, or I should say get the guitar, was going to waylay Shane with it, but then out of the corner of our eye, a Monday Night Raw attack. That's right. Drew McIntyre shows up out of nowhere. Claymore kick on Roman. Knocks him out. Oh, man. Michael Bullock, it is all yours, my friend.
Actually, doesn't Florio lead off on it?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Anthony. Yeah, it's Anthony. You lead off, bro. Sorry, I made a mistake.
Clearly, someone hasn't recovered from last night, but nonetheless,
Uh,
yeah. Nonetheless, 3 to 3 1/4 stars. Better match than anticipated, and one of Elias's better efforts. Drew McIntyre was a big surprise, so much as the wild card rule appearances can be, and here I am, attention to detail again. I mean, I saw him. I mean, I saw it out of the corner of my right eye. There he was, making the beeline and going right for Roman, and man, I mean, laying him out with that Claymore, just amazing. So, yeah, we knew the Roman and Elias that was a return match for Money in the Bank. We knew it was going to be a lot longer than 10 seconds, and oh yeah, they went from 10 seconds to over 10 minutes, so that was good. And you know, didn't overstay its welcome too badly, and McIntyre showing up was a big surprise, and yeah, we didn't expect to see him, but nonetheless, I mean, solid match to close out what ended up being a very very good edition of SmackDown Live, one that the three of us and our guy Silvera very much enjoyed. So no doubt about it. 3 to 3 1/4, probably leaning more towards 3, maybe, I guess. So nothing more to say. All right, Bullock, now it's you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it about 3.5 for the match here. I mean, I thought it was a really good match here, better than what we expected. I mean, yeah, Shane McMahon was being a pain in the you know what for throughout the match, and yeah, I mean, afterwards Shane McMahon jumped him and basically looked like he was gonna hit him with the guitar. Then gets a Superman punch, and Roman thought he was gonna get a piece of Shane, but out comes Drew McIntyre and gets Claymored. Man, oh man, Roman is facing an uphill battle because it looks like Shane McMahon's gonna throw everything at him. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. A great way to close out a good edition of SmackDown Live. So Dee Dee, what's it? It's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it about 3 stars. This was a solid match, and it continued the storyline building between Shane and Roman. They've now got Drew McIntyre in Shane's back pocket, just like Elias is. So uh, more than likely, the match with Shane and Roman at the pay-per-view is not going to be one-on-one. More likely, you'll have the interference from Shane's little flunkies out there. So, which it seems like that's all that they've pretty much done with Drew McIntyre lately, because he started out with as Corbin's flunky. Now he's Shane's flunky, so we'll have to see what happens there. Um, Definitely a good way to end a very solid show with SmackDown. So not much more to say about it. Fletch, it's yours.
3 stars, no doubt about it. Great segment. Great match. Very good match. Definitely was more surprised in the overall outcome of it than anything else. So we're just gonna go right into the overall review. Normally this would be Michael Bullock, but I know him really well, so I know he's not
No, no,
ready.
no.
Oh, you're ready for once? What a
Yeah.
shocker! Normally we have to toss it to Didi. All right, Bullock, fire. What's the rating?
I'm firing away. It's an 8 out of 10 for me for this edition of SmackDown Live. I mean, everything I thought was good to great. I mean, the only downside to it was the match between Carmella and Mandy Rose getting thrown out. I mean, but other than that, I mean, I loved everything that we saw last night. So To me, it was a very good edition of SmackDown Live. 8 out of 10 for me. Dee Dee, what's yours?
For me, it was no loss, losing the match between Carmella and Mandy Rose, but that's just me. I like a little, I kind of like a little bit of what was going on with R-Truth. Not entirely crazy about a 24/7 belt because pretty much we already had that when we had the hardcore title, but it made the show, a little more interesting to see, everybody chasing everybody around, having B Team, Matt Hardy, Drake Maverick, all these guys out there chasing R-Truth around, having wanted posters up that Drake Maverick had made for R-Truth. And I guess you could say we also had the RuPaul reference as far as R-Truth dressing in drag. So, I mean, it was that was pretty entertaining. But it was still your comedy act for the night. But all the matches were very solid. It was still a very newsworthy show. You either was tying up some loose ends or moving into new storylines or continuing storylines or just leading into the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view that's coming up. So I mean, it was still very well done, very solid show, very newsworthy as usual for SmackDown. So I'll shoot it probably about 7.5 to 8. So I'll kind of agree with Bullock on that. It was very well done. Definitely, for me, it was definitely better than what I had saw of Raw. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I will catch you all next week.
All right, good. All right, good night, Dee Dee. I'm going to go with Michael Bullock, 8 out of 10. This was a very good SmackDown Live from Providence, Rhode Island. The crowd was really into it for most of the night. There was a lot of good highs on this show more than anything else. Yeah, this was a tremendous show. Nothing more to say, guys. Anthony, let's put a bow on it. Give me your overall review.
I'll make it unanimous, 8 out of 10. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, great atmosphere, great crowd. Us being there together, the three of us and Silvera. I mean, it was a great night, and that's why we look forward to these things every time they come. And our little decree is we only do it if it's a Raw, a SmackDown, or God forbid if they ever decide to do it if they ever have the cojones to give us one of these again someday, a pay-per-view, then we're all in. But if it's a house show or a live event, we ain't doing that. But it was great as always. I mean, they always put on a good show when they come here. I mean, we always address that. I mean, there's something about our city that brings out the best in them. And this is our fourth show, the fourth show we've gone to in the last year and a half. And for my money, I would say this was the second best of the four. I still think that Raw we went to in October, I still think by a smidge that was better, especially the way that one ended, both the high and the low of it. You know what I mean? So, but no, Ali and Andrade, great match, stole the show. Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, solid match there. Roman and Elias, solid match. Some good in-ring segments. Dolph Ziggler, the star. I mean, we did not expect to see him whatsoever. I mean, the promo, the scathing pipe bomb promo, and then the attack on Kofi, just incredible. Ziggler was hands down the star of the show last night. And, kudos to WWE. Great show. I mean, they always give us a great show when they come here. And when they come back, hopefully it will be another Raw or a SmackDown. And if it's a SmackDown, then we won't have to worry about, work commitments and stuff because they'll be on a Friday night. So if it's any time after October 4, but we'll have to wait and see. But well done, guys. Well done. And we appreciate, the efforts from last night. I mean, you always give us a great show. So 4 very happy and satisfied fans last night. Yeah, there were some things we could have done without, but still, you know, it was a great time. I'm glad we all got to do it, get to hang out and enjoy what we love more than anything. So all I can say is let's do it again, boys. That's all there is to say on that. As long as it's a SmackDown or Raw or, God forbid, a pay-per-view. House show, we're taking a break. MF, let's put a bow on it.
All right, it's time for the preview of Strictly Sports. Anthony
right.
Floyo, all right, you already know the drill. What we got on Friday night?
Well, we got another loaded show for you all. John Beeline, John Beeline. He coached the University of Michigan to 2 appearances in the national championship game in 2013 and 2018. He's left Michigan. He's now going to the NBA. He is now the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. The New York Jets have fired their general manager. Not 1, but 2 hard times segments on this show. The Magic Johnson interview on First Take. That's hard times. And Tyreek Evans suspended for violating the anti-drug program. That's another hard times. But there is a huge upside to recover from those hard times, and that is we are going to give you our in-depth preview of the Stanley Cup Finals. It is all set. It's going to be the Boston Bruins squaring off against the St. Louis Blues. We'll give you our thoughts as to who we think will win Lord Stanley's Cup. And then we'll close it out with the Major League Baseball Power Rankings. Loaded show. Friday night, 10:30. Hope you all can be there. Tone 25. Nothing more to say except MF. Now let's put a bow on this thing.
Thank you very much, Anthony Flair. Thank you, Michael Bullock. Thank you, Didi Woodson. As always, thank you guys for being the best fans in the world. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all social media platforms. Have a good night, everybody, and so long for now.